Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alana and today you'll be joining me with my New Year journal flip through spread for January. So just quickly, this video was requested by a lovely commenter on the channel who asked to see my book journaling spreads and how I set it out. So in all honesty, I do a hybrid journal. I have both book things and life things in the one journal so that I get the most use out of it, which is just personally how it works for me. So here you can see a previous journal, which is September 2020 to May 2021. I don't start a new journal at the start of the year. I keep on going until I use the entire journal up, which as you can see here, we're getting close to, but I've probably still got a couple of months left in it. I should probably also point out the type of journal that I use, and that is the School of Life Journey Through Therapy collection. So I've used, I think, about 3 in this collection now. The only thing that I change is the color of the cover, although they say something different on the top. So this one is projects. I think I've had night thoughts and also memories, but obviously I just use them as a planner. I will also say that I don't have a lot of fancy pens or anything like that. I just use what I've got when I've got it, and my style as well would best be described as junk journaling, because I do pull a lot of scraps from here and there and just stick it in here and make it work and pull it together somehow. So without further ado, let's jump in. I have done this tiny little title page that just says Welcome 2022, and then when we flip over we have my title page, which is obviously for January. This theme that I ran with for this month was a lot of blues and pinks. I also cut out some images from one of my favorite books, which was Damaged, so I decided to make January feel even more like a hug, and to gently soften the blow of a new year, I put one of my favorite books into it. Now this video isn't monetized or anything like that, so I think I'm okay with this. It's just for my own personal enjoyment, so that is in there. I did cut these out and stick them in. There's also some tissue paper behind that has like a nice little shimmer in it. Moving on, we come to a regular spread in my journal, which is this side here, which has my monthly reads with the shelf that I draw, and I write the book's names on all of the spines here and the ratings of them. So this little dash here, I'll put the date that I finish it on, the title of the book, and then I will rate it out of 5. So that's why there are 5 little tiny circles here, if you can see that. So I fill those in depending on what I end up rating the book. I also always do like a little blackboard moment here where I write a little message about that month in there. I also like to be able to tell from a glance how many books that I've read really quickly. So once the month is over and I've filled this all out, I will come back in and add the number. Something more specific to the new year are my goals for the year. So I have done 4 really loose goals, which I think are very achievable, but I don't want to put too much pressure on myself this year because I do have a few different things going on. The first one is read 70 books. My end of year video for all the books that I read in 2021 will be posted by the time that this is up, so you can see that by clicking the card, but I'll also leave it linked down in the description. I ended up finishing 86 or 87 books for the year, so this is very, very reasonable, but I have set it lower because the next one is get married. We are getting married next year. I've put this on the goals and that may seem funny, but with COVID and everything, I want this to happen and I don't want it to be postponed for another year. So not that it's been postponed yet, but we want this to happen, please. Fingers crossed. Next one, we have post 24 videos to my YouTube channel. This I'm going off the base of 2 a month. Again, I want to make this more of a regular thing, and I feel like this is a lower number but achievable. So I'm very excited to keep on creating content. And then lastly, go on a holiday. This one kind of ties in with get married because COVID can impact a lot of things like it already has. So I just want to go on holiday at some time this year, pretty please. I've also added a little box here that is for uploads, meaning my YouTube video uploads, just so at a glance I've got them all in the one spot as well. I'll also mention that my spreads don't typically change from month to month. I don't change up layout or anything like that. They are how they come, except for this little bit usually changes. Maybe sometimes I'll have a mood tracker here depending on how busy the month is, because the busier the month is, the less likely I am to keep on top of filling out a mood tracker. So this will usually change, but this is always here. It's one of the main reasons why I started bullet journaling, to keep a track of my reads. You might be able to tell too that there are some leakage from this page here with the textures that I use. I will say for the School of Life journals, the pages aren't the thickest. So I see a lot of people using the Archer and Olive journals, which I will probably try at one point in my journaling career. But as of right now, I still really like these journals. It's just the page thickness is not 100%, but I like how much room there is. I like the sizing of it, so I think I'll stick with them for a couple more goes. So moving over, we have January at a glance, so the monthly overview. All of these little dots here are just the different days, because I did screw up a little bit and put the wrong day number, so I had to change it a little bit, but overall I'm not minding it. There's some more illustrations from that book that I said earlier, and this is actually a spread that I started only a couple of months ago, and I find it very handy because it does let me see really quickly from a glance what we've had on. So I'll fill out any events, any birthdays, any particular things that I need to make a note of, and I've also got a note section up the side here, so just outstanding things of the month or whatnot. My washi tape is from Fox and Cactus. I will leave them linked down below. These textures here, I've just got some from Kmart and some from Typo, and then I also have my two trusties that I always use, which are the uni pens. So I have the 0.1 and the 0.3, the fine lines, and I've used these for many years, and they're just my go-to black felt tip pen to use. So with these boxes, that is done in the 0.1. I think my outlines on my words are done in the 0.3. But again, sometimes I have to be careful with the 0.3 if it does bleed through. It doesn't always, but just depending if I put texture on top of it, which is what's happened here. Then we get into the weekly spreads. You can see the bleed through here. That's just the reality of journaling sometimes. But I always have a little note section, and I really like this layout. This vertical layout really works for me, and the space of the boxes is enough for the information that I need to pop in them. So when I do go through this and fill out the personal information that I put in them, it will have the days that I work, birthdays, events, things to remember. I usually put like a checklist here for things that I have to do within the week. And yeah, then we go through week 2. These are some of the stickers that I used. So this is a Fox and Cactus sticker sheet. This is the Spring Foxes. I got it because it reminded me of Evie, and they're super duper cute, and it goes with my kind of color theme that I've got going on this month. Also with the little illustrations, so you've got stickers there and there. We're kind of a Fox and Cactus brand here, as you can see with some of the washies here. I've also got some Mandrake of the Month washies and some Keeper of the Suns. So I'll make sure to leave all of those businesses linked in the description down below. I also have my trusty washi cutter here from Fox and Cactus. This is super duper handy because essentially when you are rolling out your washi tape and you want to cut it quickly, you just put it there and rip it, and it works really well. And then we have the last week of January. It cuts off at the 30th because I always start my weekly spreads from Monday to Sunday. And when I do my February spread, that will start off with Monday the 31st and then continue on. I'm not too fussy about the cutoff dates because that's what works in this setup. And then with just a couple of pages left to go, we have book thoughts. I always pop in a little section like this so that I can go through and fill it out to compare from last month's. This is how it ends up looking, hopefully, when I use it properly. And again, the idea dump page, just like that. this was me actually planning out this video. Again, with some beautiful illustrations. I will leave this book linked down below as well for you. It's an amazing book. You should definitely check it out. It's very heartwarming. And then when we turn over the page, I have a blank page spread here because I sometimes halfway through the month will need more space or whatnot. So I don't have a title on this one as of yet because it can be whatever I need it to be. And then I always like to finish the month off with a best of the month page. So this is the best of January. Got some more of that tissue paper from my title page and some more ripped paper with just my textures and my outline on it. And yeah, that's it for my January spread. I really enjoy bullet journaling because it makes my mind feel clearer, more in control of my time, and also allows me to be artsy without the pressure of making something good. This is me just doodling and blurting out my thoughts, and it just really works for me. Now, the lovely commenter on my video who requested to see the book side of this journal, I did show you this little monthly page that I do every month. I'll show you an example of a previous month. So, for example, in November, I read 6 books. These were the books here. I also like to write whether they were an audiobook or an ARC copy. My ratings go here. This is an example of one of my mood trackers, but as you can see, November started to get busy, so I didn't finish it off, but that's a nice little thing to do every now and again. This one says, "We're back, baby," because November was when our story opened after coming out of lockdown, which was really, really good. I can't show you the rest of this month filled out because it does contain personal information, but what I can do to show you more of the book side is to flip over and show you my bookshelves that I have at the front of this journal. So I'm going to cut to that footage. The lighting will change because I did film that as I was filling it out. So here we go to that. You may recognize it from the thumbnail, but here is how I did it. So as you can see on the left hand side, those were the books that I consumed between June and December of 2021. When I finish a book, I fill it out in the books read in the month page that I've shown you. And then I also flick to the front of my journal and fill out a spine so that I can have all of them in the one spot, and it makes me feel super accomplished because wow, it looks like a lot, as you can see on the left here. So what I do is I go through and quickly pencil it in first so that I roughly have a vision of where I want to go with it. And no, I don't use a ruler for this. I just freehand all of my lines, except for later you'll see me do the little blackboard box with a ruler. That's the only time that I will use a ruler in my spreads. I used to always use a ruler, but I like the way it looks when it's a little bit wonky. It just feels more real to me, and I think it looks more warm as well. I don't know if that makes sense, but it just makes me feel nice to freehand draw. You'll see me start to outline all of the different books as well, because yes, these rectangles are book spines. I know that they're not the most realistic, but it works for me and it has all of the information in the one spot. So as I go through and outline them, I just want to share a little bit as to why I like to journal. I touched on this briefly just before, but journaling really does help to untangle my brain, and it makes me feel like I'm more on top of my schedule and more in control if I do have my journal with me. I'm very much a list person, and I think this translates to the journal as well because I can do checklists. I can see exactly what I have going on in the week. I can see my progress with my reading or with my videos if I decide to do a video scheduling list as well. And yeah, it's actually really helped me with just keeping my brain less foggy as well. Again, from before, it also lets me get a bit artsy without the pressure of creating something great all the time. It just keeps it fun. Art is the process of doing something as well as the end result. I think both are important. So this just helps me to still have a little art outlet, and I really love how they come together. Each month I do a different theme. Even though the layouts stay the same, I'll use different washi tape, different colors, different sticker sheets, and it makes me feel really nice. I'm also a bit of a nostalgia type person, so sometimes I will glue in keepsakes like cards or letters, or that's why I have my best of the month page, because I print off photos from the month and pop them there, and it acts as a little time capsule for me to look back on if I ever do flick back through my journal. I found that during the blip or lockdown in 2021, I lent on my journal a lot as well. I used it even more throughout lockdown, just to kind of catalogue what I was doing each day to try and make myself still feel productive, even though I couldn't go out or go to work. So it did help to make me feel more purposeful and more productive, even though I know you don't have to be productive all the time, but it was just a really handy tool for me to use while we were going through that. Sometimes my spreads do change up a little bit, but the basis does stay the same. For example, I used to have a YouTube video ideas section, and I ended up popping that in a different journal altogether, because then I could flick through it from page to page and have it all in the one spot, rather than flicking back through different months to see what I did film or didn't film. So those YouTube idea dumps have moved to a different journal, but that's something that used to go through here. But other than that, my journal really is just a split between a weekly planner, a monthly overview, and a book reading journal. Surprisingly, I never used to journal. I would buy the already filled out journals or planners at the start of the year, have really great intentions, but I would never fill them out. And for some bizarre reason, one day I thought that I would try bullet journaling, and I really didn't think it would stick. But I've been doing this for, I want to say, at least 2 years now of regularly filling out a bullet journal, and I'm very surprised that it's stuck so well. I think it has because I did include the book element into it, so it's tracking my reads so that I remember what I've read, remember the feelings that those books gave to me, and I think that's been the saving grace of why I have continued on and why I utilize my bullet journal so much. So if you haven't journaled and you're not sure if you will use it or not, or if regular journals aren't for you, consider bullet journaling but adding an element that you love to it. For example, my element was books. Once I included that in with the journal, it just took off from there. I don't journal every single day, but I do catch up and I do frequently come back to my journal. So yeah, this has been the first bullet journal flick through that I have done for my channel. Let me know in the comments down below if you like this kind of content, or if you would like to see me physically designing the journal instead of just a flick through. If you're a journaler, comment down below the type of journal that you love to use and your favorite supply. I really love the scrapbook type style to mine, where I do just pull from different things. So I use my washi, I'll use random tissue paper from gifts, I'll cut out books if they're damaged, and I'll pull it all together with stickers and textures and things like that. So let me know your style down in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, chuck a like on this video and consider subscribing to the channel. I hope you're all doing okay out there and that 2022 has something good in it for you, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!